Hello and welcome to my championship predictions. Thank you so much for tuning into this one. I hope you enjoy. If you do, feel free to leave your thoughts and your predictions in the comments. There will be a pinned comment with all of the games, so feel free to copy and paste that and get involved. Like the video if you enjoy and subscribe if you are new. But let's get on to this weekend's fixtures. So the first game is on Friday night and it is between Preston North End and Derby County. So these two are having different seasons. Sixth place we find Derby County, who've won 2 of their last 5 games, beating Norwich 4-3 and beating Reading 2-1. Preston, their form is starting to look very good. 2 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats. Won their last 2 games. Stoke 2-0 and also beat QPR 4-1. Derby played at the weekend in the FA Cup and they beat Accrington Stanley by the solitary goal, and this one could be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to this because Preston, they look really good. Maybe they could make a late effort for the playoffs. They're looking really good. They brought in Stockley, they brought in Brad Potts, and both of those look decent signs, particularly Brad Potts. Brad Potts is somebody I'm a huge fan of. I think he offers so much, and I think he definitely deserves to be playing in the Championship and not League One. So maybe that's something that they could look at, but certainly I think they'll finish in the top half. They had a bit of a run last year or the year before where they sort of finished just outside the playoffs. Derby County, they'll be looking to get 3 points. I think this one will be tight. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go Derby County to draw with Preston, 1 apiece. I think that would be a good point for Preston, but Derby County with a win could go up into 5th. And if they were to draw, the likes of Bristol City, Blackburn, etc., can cut the gap on them, which wouldn't be good for Derby County. But I'm going to go 1-1. Next we go to Saturdays, including probably the biggest game of the season so far. Birmingham take on Nottingham Forest, 2 sides just outside the playoffs. 9th place we find Nottingham Forest, who are 4 points off Derby County. 12th place, despite being at halfway, Birmingham are only 6 points off Derby County. Birmingham, they've fallen apart in recent weeks. Well, they're not fallen apart, but they're not looking as good in recent weeks. 3 draws, 2 defeats, no wins in their last 5 league games. Nottingham Forest have won 2 of their last 5 games as well, so their form isn't the best either. They got their first win under new manager Martin O'Neill, beating Wigan 3-1. With Derby County having a tough game against Preston, they'll be looking at trying to cut that gap. I'm going to go for a Nottingham Forest win here. I'm going to go Nottingham Forest to beat Birmingham City by 2-0. Bristol City take on Swansea. Swansea City are looking very good in recent weeks. They're getting some momentum. They have won 2, drawn 3 of their last 5 league games, as well as 2 wins in the FA Cup, beating Gillingham by 4-1 and beating Aston Villa 3-0. Bristol City, they're flying. They're also into the 5th round of the FA Cup. They've won their last 4 league games in a row, beating Nottingham Forest, beating Bolton, beating Stoke, and also beating Rotherham. If Derby were to drop points, they could go ahead of Derby if they were to win, and Derby were to pick up anything other than a victory. So that could be huge as they battle to get into the playoffs. A very good campaign for Lee Johnson's men. I think this one will be a draw as well. I think this one could be very tight. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I just think it will be a draw. Swansea are going very well. They could be up in the top half come the end of the season for sure. Bristol City, they want to get in those playoffs if they can. I'm going to go 1 apiece. Hull City take on Stoke. Stoke are a very hard team to predict. So they beat Leeds on the 19th, and then a week later they lost to Preston at home. So it's hard to tell how they're going. Hull, they were on fire. They won 6 or 7 games in a row, I think. And then in the last couple, they've been struggling. 2-2 draw with Aston Villa. And then that 3-0 defeat to Blackburn, who are going now very well. I'm going to go for a Hull win. I'm just going to go for a Hull win because they're at home. I'm going to go 2-1 to Hull, but that one could go either way for sure. Stoke looking to finish in the top half, and it looks like they're going to be doing a bit of business in the transfer window today. Next we have Ipswich versus Sheffield Wednesday. Ipswich are still bottom of the league under Paul Lambert, but they have signed a lot of players in this transfer window to try and get them up. They won one of their last 5 games, beating Rotherham 1-0. They are still way off the pace. Sheffield Wednesday have won 2, drawn 2 and lost one of their last 5 games in the league, and have also been knocked out of the FA Cup, losing 3-0 to Chelsea. I'm going to go 3-2 to Sheffield Wednesday. I think they'll have enough to beat Ipswich, and I think Ipswich will unfortunately get relegated. I just can't see them staying up, unfortunately, which is sad. I hope that they can make a good fist of it, which would be really good, and it'd make it a little bit more interesting if Ipswich were to get involved. But I'm going to go a 3-2 victory to Sheffield Wednesday. Next, we have Millwall versus Rotherham, another 2 sides that are struggling down the bottom. Millwall are in 19th place, having won 3 of their last 5 games in the league. Rotherham, they've lost 4 of their last 5 games, and Millwall had a great victory on the weekend, beating Everton 3-2. And at the weekend, Leeds went to Rotherham and won 2-1. It's going to be interesting to see how this one goes, but Millwall, their home form is pretty good. They knocked out Everton. They'll be full of confidence. I'm going for a Millwall win here, and I think it will be 2-0 to Millwall. I think Millwall will have enough to beat Rotherham. I still think Rotherham will get relegated. No offence to any Rotherham fans. Reading, with those 2 playing each other, Reading could capitalise, but they are having a tough game against Aston Villa. Reading have picked up 5 points from their last 15 available, only 1 win in that time, obviously beating Nottingham Forest 2-0. Villa, they are in 10th place, and yeah, things aren't going too well at the moment for Dean Smith. They're not losing a lot of games, they're drawing an awful lot of games at the minute. They've drawn 3 of their last 5 games. I think they'll have enough to beat Reading now. I can't see Reading causing too many problems. I'm going to go 3-1 to Villa, and that could take them as high as 7th if they were to get the victory there, Villa. Next, we have Sheffield United and Bolton. So this one is going to be a tale of 2 sides having completely different seasons. Bolton are in 23rd with 23 points, having won none of their last 5 games, 2 draws and 3 defeats. Only one in about 20. Poor old Bolton, they're in terrible form. Sheffield United, they are in 3rd place, 3 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat in their last 5 games. Sheffield United being the home team, being in decent form. Bolton being the away side, struggling, not picking up many points at all. I'm going to go for a Sheffield United win. I'm going to go 3-0 to the Blades. West Brom will take on Middlesbrough. And this one is going to be a very interesting game. 4th take on 5th. This will be very interesting indeed. Tony Pulis going back to the Hawthorns. They both have the same record at the moment. 2 wins, 2 draws and 2 defeats in their last 6 games. 1 defeat in their last 5 games even. And that's going to be it's going to be interesting to see. I think both these teams will probably end up in the playoffs come the end of the season. And that's why I'm going to go for a draw. I just can't separate them, and I think it will end up being a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. West Brom, their form at home has been very good, but they have let some weird points drift away from them at times, drawing the likes of Sheffield Wednesday recently. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, but that could go either way for sure. The final 3 o'clock game is Wigan versus QPR. Now Wigan and QPR, they have struggled at the start of the season, but both are in different situations now. QPR, they had that terrible start to the season, and then they picked up, and now they're in 14th place. They're going to definitely stay up, there's no doubt about it. I think they'll finish around mid-table. Wigan, they had a better start, and then they've fallen away in recent weeks. Now they are in 20th place, just 5 points clear of the drop zone, having won 1 of their last 5 games, beating Aston Villa 3-0. This one could go either way, but Wigan being at home, I think I'm going to go with Wigan. I'm going to go 1-0 to Wigan, and that would be a huge victory. With a couple of them playing each other at the bottom, it would be good for Wigan to move away if they were to get the 3 points. So I'm going to go 1-0 to Wigan. And now we go to the main event. Leeds versus Norwich is our last game. 2 of the best sides in the division. First take on second. It's Leeds versus Norwich. This is going to be a season defining game. If Leeds were to win, that could be one huge step into playing Premier League football next season. If Norwich to win, that would also be a huge step in coming to play football next season in the Premier League. Leeds United have won 2 and lost 3 of their last 5 games. Norwich City have won 1 and drew 3 of their last 5 games, although those 3 games they drew included West Brom away and Sheffield United at home. 2 sides are in the playoffs. This one is going to be a great game. I'm not going to watch the Premier League game on Saturday. I'm going to watch this game. There's no doubt about it. This game is going to be probably the game of the weekend, even though Arsenal are playing Manchester City. It's just so big, and I'd expect City to beat Arsenal. So I think this is going to be the game of the weekend. There could be a lot of goals as well. There could be a late goals as well. I'm really looking forward to this, and I'd love to hear what you think. I'm going to go just about for a Leeds win. I'm going to go 2-1 to Leeds. Maybe a late goal from the likes of Kamaru or someone like that, just to head in and make it 2-1. I just think Leeds will have just enough to beat Norwich, and with Sheffield United playing Bolton, they could catch up with Norwich. With West Brom playing Middlesbrough, they could catch up with Norwich as well. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Leeds, just beating Norwich, but I think it'll be a very, very, very tight game indeed. I think I missed one, so I'm going to just cover that one now. Brentford versus Blackburn. I just realised I don't think I've covered this one, so I'm going to just do it now. Blackburn are in tremendous form. Won 4 of their last 5 league games. They've beaten Hull, they've beaten Ipswich, they've beaten Millwall, they've beaten West Brom. They have looked very, very good in recent weeks, Blackburn, and they are just 3 points off the playoffs. They were taking on Brentford, who have won 2 and drawn 3 of the last 5 games, but did struggle against non-league Barnet, and yeah, that's something that that was a fantastic game. But Brentford, they're up and down at the minute. They're up and down. But Blackburn, they're in great form. I'm going to tip them to make it 5 wins on the bounce. I'm going to go 2-1 to Blackburn, and that could see them really show that they are in for a fight to get into these playoffs. I'm really looking forward to the playoff race. There's so many teams that are outside that could be in there come the end of the season. It's going to be a fantastic end to the season. I'm really looking forward to the end of the championship. Thanks so much for tuning in. Leave your thoughts down below, comment and subscribe and get involved. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.